today I want to talk about English Pastoral. It's one of the books that I read with book club, like when we first started. I think it was like the third book we read. And it was actually really amazing to read. It's about James Rebanks. He had written one book beforehand, before he wrote this one. And he is essentially, he's a farmer. He's been a farmer all his life. And his grandfather essentially taught him like the old way of farming and like took him under his wing when he was a bit of a like disinterested young teen, and kind of taught him how to farm and how to have respect for the land and the animals that they were working with. And it was really beautiful. Reading more about the kind of patchwork of crops and meadows they had, and the hedgerows that were teeming with wildlife, and then seeing sort of how farming changed. So James talks a lot about how farming has changed due to industrialization and due to globalization and increased demand and all of that. And when he took the farm over from his father, it was nothing like the farm he knew as a young kid. He basically, his whole book is about the advancements in technology and using modernized monocultural farming techniques, and how that's actually super detrimental to obviously the earth, but also the communities that are living in those farming communities, how it becomes all about surviving and trying to like beat the supermarket prices sort of thing. And it definitely also raises within you certain questions around like the ethics of the products you buy and the money you pay for your products, and value of the work that is involved. And he talks essentially about rural landscapes brought to collapse and trying to create low-cost products, using fertilizers, advanced equipment that maybe isn't actually suitable for the land it's farming, and the loss of the old ways of how we used to do things, probably for a very, very long time. And it's like they probably knew what they were doing, right? And I don't want people, it's also about climate change in many ways, but I don't want people to think that the book is very like sad and sort of like, it's very much about a song of hope. So James, very much guided by his past knowledge from his grandfather and through reading books about the impacts of modern industrialized farming on the earth and on people, starts using those old ways again. Because he's transforming his farm into more what it used to be, because he wants to leave a legacy to his children. And it's very much about the fact that we may still be able to have a new pastoral, and it's very much full of hope and the way that we could work. But it definitely talks about the cost of modernization, but the parts where he talks about his grandfather and like farming with his grandfather, it's just like, I'm a city girl, but it's just full of fondness, and it makes you appreciate how hard farmers work, but also how much many of them care. There is a little lovely scene where his grandfather was farming, and there were curlew eggs, and he took them and like relocated them so he wouldn't destroy them. And when they come home, his father goes, "Oh, that's why you took so long, because you're a soppy old fuck." Like, paraphrasing here, but it's like about having that respect for nature and things, which like I don't think James's father is like the villain in this story, because he went more with the modern industrialist farming. James very much talks about the pressures that farmers are under to actually do all these things. But it's like a cautionary tale about like, don't just do these things, because there is a price to pay at the end of it, and we don't have to live this way. We can live in harmony with the world, and it's a really beautiful book to really recognize that, and I really loved reading it. I would give it probably 4.5 stars. I really loved it. I love the storytelling. It's very lyrical sometimes in his storytelling, and it really brought you there with him. And yeah, it was a very, very beautiful book. English Pastoral, would definitely recommend reading it.